firstly for all of the lovely comments that you left on my 20th anniversary video. I was so moved reading them. There's lots I still haven't replied to and want to go back and reply to, but honestly the comments were so wonderful that I want to put them in a little book or something. When I did a post asking what you'd like to see for a 20th anniversary video, quite a few of you said you'd like to see a cooking video or some version of the backburner series that I do or have previously done in the past. I thought today would be a great time to do like a mini version of that, just like really one night of cooking rather than a whole month or over the course of a month. Today marks the end of my first week back at work after my sabbatical. My sabbatical was 6 weeks and then I had the Christmas holidays before that. It's been a big week and it's 8 p.m, which is much later than I would usually have dinner, and I'm quite hungry. And the thing that I'm going to make today is from beloved friend of Backburner, Anna Jones's newsletter. Her newsletter is wonderful. I'll put a link to it in the description bar below. This one is a coriander, lemon and sweet potato soup, and it just so happens that I have, I think, everything, if not pretty much everything that I need for the soup. And I also haven't eaten that many vegetables this week because it's been my first week back at work, and I just feel like my head has not been in a place of the balance of like providing myself with the sustenance that I need, especially by the time I get to the end of the day. So we need some veggies. The weather has also been a little bit blustery. I'm rereading Wuthering Heights for the first time since I was a teenager. Like I think the last time I read this I was 16 or thereabouts. Look at my beautiful, I have so many bookmarks, and yet it's a Boots receipt that I use. I really love these vintage editions because they're so comfortable to read. One of the things, I was actually talking to Sana about this earlier today, that I really love about Wuthering Heights is the way Emily Bronte writes weather and how she writes weather and how she marks the passing of time, but then also kind of the jumping between the timelines. Another week over and I am so many days nearer health and spring, and I feel the same. It has been hard to go from Mexico to London in February, which is predictable, but true. Thank you to everyone who loves the backburner videos and cooking videos in general. Bearing that in mind, some of you also said you'd love a Q&A, so put your questions in the comments and I will make a Q&A video as well at some point in the near future. So the onion I was going to use, this one, is in bad health, so I'm going to use shallots instead. Shallots, and I'm still not sure. Oh my god. Stunning. My eyes are burning. Oh my god. Whoa. That's finally chopped enough. Here's our old friend. For those of you who don't know my backburner series, I think I started making them when I was living in Indiana, and it was basically a way to document myself working through a cookbook over the course of a month, but also to document myself for a month and understand the kind of highs and lows of my mental health, particularly my depression, and kind of also understanding how that ebbed and flowed. And basically I think, especially when I'm in a depression, I want to understand how it changes and that it will change, which is something that doesn't feel possible when I'm stuck in it. But equally, when I'm not feeling depressed, I struggle to really apprehend what my relationship is, especially to food, but also to my own energy and taking care of myself when I am depressed. So I feel like I'm constantly sort of like shouting over a crevasse a little bit, this lot of understanding, and often making these videos and talking about those shifts in my mental health really helped me. On the other hand, they were obviously very personal, and I think talking about my relationship with food is personal, and even appearing is personal. And there were people who I didn't want to know the ins and outs of my life or my mood in that way. And there were also times where I was sharing it there instead of sharing it with people in my life who could help. So it was a bit of a dance between so many things. I love making those videos. It's just, I don't really know what those videos look like in 2026, and maybe some of that is also they look like shorter versions. They look like trying a recipe from a cookbook rather than working my way through the whole cookbook or a recipe from a newsletter or what. I don't know. But the series evolves. I don't know. I think the heat is a little high. Even when I didn't always know where to put it, something that I really loved about Backburner was how creative I felt doing it. Like, it felt like very much my series. Backburner came at a time when I was living away from my home, London, in my new home, and sort of adjusting to a new space, adjusting to a new range of things going on in my life. It had been 4 years since my dad died, and I mean, that wasn't the only thing. There were just like there were a lot of things happening, and I felt very much at that point, I suppose, around like mid-20s, like I should have a sense of it, like I should have a solid grounding in things, or like I should be in a certain place, and I definitely don't have that mindset now about things, like whether that's through time or the work I've done or whatever. But I was very aware of that, and I was very aware of that feeling of shortcoming, I guess. I just like really hard on myself. I couldn't understand my health or lack of it. It's been cold lately. I didn't think this would be itself a kind of retrospective video, but I guess inevitably it is. One of the other things that I really liked about Backburner, and I think this is something that emerges kind of looking back at it, was that I allowed myself to be messy. I don't have any knife skills. Yeah, maybe it was in that honesty and that messiness that in some ways I gave myself that creative freedom and the play that I had removed from so many parts of my life, or kind of presented as inaccessible to me. I've never cooked perfectly. Whatever that means, you know. I've always cooked quite creatively. Something that helped me emerge from how low I had been feeling previously was I really allowed myself to rest, and I didn't set my baseline of quote unquote productivity or whatever at maximum productivity, which is something I'm learning and trying to practice. I talked on the Project for Awesome live stream about this book I read over sabbatical, which is Meditation for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman, which I loved, and I kind of want to talk about more. But something there, and something that has also come out of other work I've done, has been the sense that, like, just because you have a day where you get loads of stuff done, for instance, like I sent a lot of emails, or I wrote lots of words, or I went to the gym and then wrote lots of emails, and then read a whole book on my way home, and then wrote lots of words for creative projects. That doesn't need to be the baseline, you know, like that can be as abnormal a day as a day when I don't feel able to do anything. Your most productive day doesn't have to be the template, which I think is kind of like the like entrepreneurial maximize your potential fuel thing. What am I doing? I didn't grate that ginger. Need a bit more. Now I need some fennel seeds, which are fennel seeds, and I think cayenne. I could also use paprika, but no, I'm going to use cayenne today because I always use paprika. Paprika! Oh, it's starting to smell so good already. Wow, I'm such a beautiful videographer. I'm going to use 2 sweet potatoes because that's what I'm working with, and I can bulk it out with, where is my love? Are you not everyone to hear? Yes. Too loud. Sensory nightmare of the fan. Jones and I love a sweet potato. Usually it's sweet potato with lime, but I actually have quite a lot of lemons, so I will not defy her and put a lime in this time. I'm hungry. Oh my god, finally. Oh, my thing's just turned off. No, please don't. Let's add a litre. What was I doing? Oh, chopping. I mean, definitely roughly chopped overall. Can you even see anything? Stop. I thought I'd like get ahead and empty the dishwasher while this was doing it, but I forgot that the tripod means everything's in the way. So, it's a bit interesting. Okay, I'm gonna use this mighty mug from Lex. Isn't she gorgeous? Then, take you off the heat. Do a taste. Try the broth. That's lovely. Ah, that already makes me feel better. I feel like it cured something in my soul. Oh my god, Anna. So the fennel is amazing. I'm just glad that those weren't accidentally cumin seeds because I did think that they might be cumin. Now you know what the finishing shot would be if I were really committed to it. Such a natural place to... Oh wow. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming by my kitchen. This is how everyone reads, right? Gotta put the Brutes receipt back so I don't lose my spot. That was really fun and I enjoyed doing that, and I feel like I didn't necessarily wrap up any of my thoughts, but I put them out there, and that's what... Excuse me, I'm trying to do conclusion. I've lost my place now because my fancy cooker interrupted me. I put thoughts out there. I made things messy. That's backburner. This week was actually fine. It turns out I can take 6 weeks off and the world doesn't fall crumbling down. And I actually feel so much better for it. And even though the re-entry to cold British weather and February and lack of sunshine has been absolutely horrendous, to be honest, we emerge all the same. Anyway, thank you to Anna Jones for having such a wonderful newsletter and for sending out these recipes for free, and she works really hard on it and has wonderful guest chefs come and generally it's just like one of my favourite people. This video is not by any means sponsored by her or encouraged by her or her publisher or anything. I'm just truly a big fan of hers. As you can actually see, many of you will have seen this before, but if you come and look at my cookbook shelf, which was something I asked them to put in when I had my kitchen designed and made and constructed, you'll notice that someone is quite heavily represented. Leave your questions for a Q&A in comments. Bye!